Hey everyone, it's Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 71 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. The title of this podcast episode is Creating Less Noise, and I have someone special for you. We were just vibing super high. I'm like, wait. We need to hit the record button. This is Ilonka Lubbe from Think Tofu, and she provides visionary social media support for vegan conscious entrepreneurs looking to get out there and serve more people. And Ilonka, you were telling me a story about something that, like, as you were finding your identity around creating content and receiving coaching, something unexpected happened. And I just want you to take it away, back up the truck and retell me and all of our listeners the story, please.
Awesome. So thank you so much for having me. It's such I just love you. I love your energy, and it's so cool to be on this podcast. So so what we were chatting about just now is I was talking to a coach that I have in a mastermind group that I'm in, and I am obviously on this journey, trying to build $1 million business, and trying to not lose myself along the way because that's so easy to do. And so I was chatting to her about this idea that I have for my online business. So I have a digital agency. And I try to sort of think of products, online info products that I could add to my business to sort of create an additional source of income. So I was talking to her about it, and, my husband and I, because we're together in this business, we worked an entire week on this whole idea and putting the funnel together and everything else that goes with it. And I got on this call, and it was a one-on-one session with, between her and I. And my husband wasn't actually in the room. And so I talked to her, and I said to her, this is the idea. This is what I want to do. How do you think I should launch this thing? Because I'm literally ready to do this. And she paused, and I could hear she was a little bit hesitant, and she was trying to be nice. And I mean, she wasn't nasty at all, but she just said to me, and I can't remember her exact words, but it went along the lines of I don't think that this is really your thing. There's something missing here.
Oh, God.
And so I just felt seriously, are you seriously saying that I shouldn't be doing this? It's a bad idea. So she said, no, it's not a bad idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think you're just talking to the wrong audience. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And so at that point, my ideal customer, so to speak, was service-based businesses, local businesses. Mm. And because that's who I was serving, within my digital agency. And it was going, good. I couldn't really complain about it. And I thought, who else am I going to serve? And I think there's this massive, self-doubt thing that happens. And I was full on in self-doubt mode at that point. But anyway, I had this discussion with her, and we dropped off the call. My husband came into the room, and I was literally crying. Mm. And I remember him coming into the room all excited, yay, what did she say? What are we going to do next, And I'm crying, and he's like, what the hell just happened? What's going on? And I just said to him, we don't have the right audience. This isn't who we're supposed to be serving. And I am just tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And he actually stood in front of me and said, take a breath and let's just think through this. Okay. So I actually decided to switch off my laptop for an entire weekend. And it sounds crazy because it's only 2 days, but I think as an entrepreneur, and especially an online entrepreneur, it's really difficult to switch off because our entire life and business is online. So, you know, when you need to take a break, it's really difficult because you still have your phone. I mean, we have kids as well. So you can't really just leave your phone, you know, switch it off for an entire weekend if the kids aren't with you, because you always sort of have to be prepared for, like, you know, whatever disaster is bound to happen. And so, so I decided, okay, I'm just going to take a break. I'm not going to think about my business. I'm not going to do anything on it for the entire weekend, and just sort of, you know, really take a break and just disconnect from everything, spend time with my family and just like chill. And so on Friday morning, my husband actually said to me, you know, let's go have some lunch, because the kids actually went to their grand's house and they stayed there for a while. And so we went to this vegan restaurant, and it's a restaurant that I love going to. It's called Kaylee. And so we sat there and we just sort of talked about whatever, you know, it wasn't any specific conversations. And I said to him, like, this place makes me feel so good. Like, apart from the fact that it's an all vegan restaurant, which is very rare in a country like South Africa. I mean, we do have them, but it's like you have to drive to find an all vegan restaurant. And so I was sitting there and I just said to him like this, I just love this space. I love the color of this space. I love the vibe. I love the energy of the people. You can literally see people coming in who are non-vegan, and they just walk away because they realize like there's no options for them on the menu. And I feel like, you know, we often hear this thing about, you know, you have to be polarizing. You have to decide who you are serving, and you sort of, you know, stick with them and be there for your tribe. You know, don't try to serve everybody, because you can't. And when I see people coming into that restaurant and they're sort of, what is this crap? You know, why don't they have chicken on the menu or whatever? I actually feel like, I just want to like fist bump somebody and say like, you know. So yeah, and I just felt so good. And my husband said, you know, so why don't we serve people that have businesses like this, you know? Not necessarily only restaurants or local businesses, but like vegan businesses in general. And it just felt like I had this epiphany, like literally my soul felt on fire. Like I felt like, yes, you know, this makes sense to me. And I finally got that connection of like, this is who I'm supposed to serve. Because no matter what type of brand it is, no matter what they sell, whether it's a service like a vegan fitness coach or vegan shoes, you know, it's something that gets me so freaking excited that I literally want to tell everybody about it, and I just want to help these people. So that's sort of, you know, what happened, and I'm so glad that it did. And, you know, I think it fits so well into what you're trying to teach your audience as well, in terms of, you know, that this whole thing is a journey. There's no right or wrong. There's no like, you know, do this and this will be a success, or don't do this because if you do it, it's going to be a massive failure. There's no like white and black area. You know, it's all gray, I think. And it's about like just walking the path and just making sure that you're really being true to yourself. And because we can so easily get distracted by everything that's around us and what the competition is doing and what, you know, other people in this line of business is doing. They might not necessarily be your competition, but I think we compare ourselves so much and we feel like other people are further ahead, or, you know, I should be doing this because this is working now. And I think we're so much doing that we actually forget to sit back and step back and sort of just take a breath and ask ourselves, you know, is this what I want my life to be? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I mean, I'm all about purpose. Like, I do believe we all have a purpose, but I don't think that purpose necessarily stays the same your entire life. Like that feels like weird to me. You know, it feels like when I was in school, my purpose wasn't the same as it is now, you know? And I feel like you are supposed to evolve, you're supposed to grow, and things are supposed to change. Like, that is just the part, that's how the universe works, right? Things change. And I think we should be able to, you know, be conscious of that and just be aware of the fact that it's okay to feel different today than you did yesterday, and you're probably going to feel different tomorrow, but to just find that groundedness and make sure that you really stay true to who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is so beautiful, because what I'm hearing is that how you were able to shift that situation and find the clarity is you created an opening for it. You know, if you think of the flow of water in nature, like if you're sitting in a bathtub and you stick your hand into the water, you try to part it, all of the water is just going to keep flowing into that negative space. And that one of the universal laws is the universe abhors a vacuum and abhors the void. So that means wherever there's openings, they have to be filled. When online constantly, like in the computer, in the cell phone, in the tablets, in like all of this technology exposure, we're like filled with content, with ads, with other people's lives and all these things. And it's so hard to really get that clarity that we know that we're serving the purpose that we're now called to. Where we're at in the journey, like you were saying, now is an evolving story. So, I mean, how you stepped back to create that story, I really want to underline that for everyone who's listening in. Stepping back to just create space to be a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think, you know, and it comes back to this thing that we discussed, you know, about the noise that surrounds us. And I mean, I have days where my husband used to come home from when he still had like a full-time job. He came home and I was in the kitchen and the entire house was completely quiet. And this is really weird for me because I would always have the TV on, or there would be some background noise. And so he came into the house and the kids weren't there. So the house was extremely quiet. And he said, "Why is it so quiet in here?" And I said, "Dude, like, please don't turn on the television because it's so noisy in my head that I literally cannot deal with the TV right now." And I think that is like, you know, it has become normal for us to be busy all the time, to be, you know, bombarded with stuff all the time. You know, like you said, advertisements and, you know, infomercials and like, you know, billboards, and everywhere you go, somebody is trying to like show you something, you know. And I think it's really important, and I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about vegan businesses, because I feel like it's time now for people to start doing business differently, not just how they treat their employees and how they run their business, but what impact they have on human beings, you know, because sometimes people forget that they're actually serving humans, you know. They're that sounds really weird. It sounds like they eat them or something. I just like, anyway, but I hope you got that. But I mean, there's like, you know, I think we forget that, you know, and we're so consumed by making our thing a success and being successful and finding our place in this world that we forget we already have a place. We're already here and we're supposed to enjoy it, you know. And, you know, what's the point of running this race, so to speak, and not actually taking in the moments along the way, you know? So, and I feel like as business owners, we have got to start doing things differently. We have to think about the people that we're serving, but also what impact we're having on the environment and on ourselves. because I think there's such a big disconnect between everything these days, you know. And so that was just like a really sort of important driving factor for me. And it's also important not just to think about how you're running your business and what the impact of that business is on the human race and on the planet, but also think, how are you actually contributing to that noise? You know, are you just making more noise and making people more disconnected, or are you actually helping them? You know, because as entrepreneurs, that's what we're actually supposed to be doing, you know, is creating opportunities and empowering people and lifting them up, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just feel like, you know, we have to start thinking differently about how we advertise ourselves when we create content for our customers. You know, what are we doing? Are we just adding to that noise, or are we really adding value?
This is so perfect. And it reminds me of when I was watching one of Simon Sinek's talks. He talked about the difference of measuring our success according to dollars versus measuring our success according to hearts. Like, how many hearts have we? Yeah. How many people are we serving? And how many people do we get to be with on that journey? And the more that we have conversations like these that are staying conscious of the impact of having a business, the more that we keep having these conversations, the better, because I'm a firm believer that as an entrepreneur, I'm here to help. Like, as an entrepreneur, this is my commitment for however long I decide to be involved, like, in my business, right? But this is my commitment to professionally love on the world and help others. This is my commitment to it. And how I'm supported in doing that, yes, of course, is in the resources that support me in doing that. Is not just financial resources, but also people, emotion, and all of that. Like, but also how I'm supported in doing this is seeing the impact that I make. It's so important in our content that we measure the success of not like, okay, how hard can I smack somebody with this head?
How much dopamine can I release or whatever?
It's like the content that I generate. It's the question behind it is, who am I being here? I remember years ago, I've been following a YouTuber named Elliot Hulse for quite some time. He talks about being the strongest version of yourself. So he's a power lifter, but also he does energy healing on himself. He, reads sacred texts, like the strongest version of mind, body, and spirit. And someone sent him a question, like he responds to questions in his videos constantly, like as a way to generate content. And someone asked him, like, how do you keep putting out like so much content? He's shared that he would record like 4 videos in a day for years. And this is what he said, and it changed my life. Maybe whoever is listening needs to hear this too. When I record a video and I start talking and sharing, right, and I know that, whatever I talk and share is going to be recorded in the blog post and, redistributed in different social media channels. But when I come to the end of that video and I hit stop, I ask myself one thing and one thing only. Was I sincere?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, I get rid of it, right? And I do it again, and I come from my heart, even if it's a hot mess or whatever it is. But if it's yes, I say F it and I upload it, right? I put it out there. Fuck it. If it comes from the heart, if you're sincere, then that's content worth sharing, not just noise that's out there. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have this thing where, we put content out there and we sort of watch that like number, how many people like this post, how many people like my page, how many people are following me on Instagram. And I feel like that's so disconnected. Like, what about the couple of people, even if it's just 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, whatever is a small number to you? What about those people? You know, they're following you, they're listening to you, and they are there, and you're supposed to serve them. You know, the other people will come. It's about creating content that's serving the people that are following you or are about to follow you, because I feel like, you know, we also have this thing where I'll do this if this is ready type of mentality. And I just feel like, just serve the people who are following you, even if it's just that one guy, then make one hell of a difference in that one guy's life, you know. And I actually heard this story. I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but he was explaining this thing where he said that, you know, we're so concerned about how many people like our video that we just put out there, or this, you know, Instagram post or whatever it is. And we are obsessed about it. We keep refreshing it and trying to see how many people liked it. And we want that validation. But, you know, we get upset when only 15 people liked it because we would want 100 people. And he said, if you look at people who die in a plane crash, for example, you don't go, there was only 15 people on the plane. You know, you go, that is horrible, you know, like 15 people just lost their lives. And, you know, you don't know who's following you. You don't know the person behind that like or love or whatever sort of emoji you got, right? And it's all about connecting with those people and, like you said, being sincere and really trying to help them, really adding value to their lives in whatever way you can possibly do that with your business. And yeah, I just think that we need to get back to that, and, you know, just focus on the people that we have in front of us, and the rest will come. You know, the money will come. But if you can't be sincere from the start, you know, you're going to have a tough time when you have a lot of people, you know, waiting for you to teach them something or help them in some way.
So true. So true. Oh my goodness, goddess. Ilonka, like, I am just so happy and grateful that we get to love on whoever is listening right now and keep them inspired. Like, to everyone who's tuned in right now, I just want you to know that we are creating this space to surround you with so much love, so much support, so much positive energy, that you have the courage to show up with that sincerity. And please know, keep the faith, believe that the more that you step out there and speak your truth, just like the vegan business owners that Ilonka is supporting, the more that you own your space, the more you're going to really heal our world. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. I think, you know, just to add to that, I feel like, you know, people in general feel like when things get tough, it's really easy to just say that this isn't for me. And, you know, we have this idiot inside of our heads that's consistently trying to tell us that we cannot do it, you know. And it's just a voice, you know, that's not you. It's not your true self, right? And it's just stories. And, you know, when you have those thoughts, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like you've had enough, just take one more step and do the thing. Stop procrastinating. Stop consuming more content or thinking that you need another online course or whatever it is. You know, just start taking action, because that is the best way of kicking that guy in the butt.
Right on, yay! I love it. Ilonka, I just want to thank you, like, so much for all of the wisdom, the stories, like, speaking from the heart that you've shared with our listeners. And I want you to let us know, how can we celebrate you, support you, subscribe, like, follow, whatever we can do to make sure that we are sending you all the love that you need as well to stay on your journey and serving.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So yeah, currently, like I said, my business is, you know, just finding its feet, but I am on Instagram under Think Tofu. And I also have a free Facebook group called Tofu Nation, and it's all about marketing your vegan business online with social media and sales funnels. And it's completely free. I go in there once a week to give, just add value to my my audience, so they can just head on over there and join the group.
Yay. Beautiful. Going for it. Okay, awesome. And to those of you who are listening in and you need a little bit more support and energy infusion to have that courage to stay on your path, please make sure that you like, subscribe, 5-star review the Journeypreneur Podcast. Please go ahead in there. Write the story, by the way, behind the review. I want to hear what comes up for you hearing all of this. It's so much fun to read your stories. And hopefully we'll see you at the next retreat. You can head on over to naturalintuition.com and hit the retreats button to learn more so that we can create that unplugged space that'll support you in getting the clarity that you need. Stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. So in closing, I just want to, as always, remind you, please enjoy the journey. Never lose your glow as you grow in life and business. And we'll see you in the next podcast episode. Mwah! Bye for now.